Hi, everybody. People are still trickling in, and we appreciate you joining and thank you for giving us a few extra minutes to coordinate on our end. We're excited to be here today. I see some familiar names and faces, and I see some new ones, all of which is amazing. We'll give it maybe a minute more, and then we'll get started. I'll give us the run of show for today, and we'll tell you all about this great coming conference. Maybe I should also say that we are recording this meeting, so we will make it available to everybody who registered but maybe wasn't able to attend, and we will probably also share it with the NMPS broader community, so that folks who couldn't make it today can get a feeling for what's coming in the conference. All right, I think this is everybody, or at least it feels cozy in here. It's a great number. Again, thank you everybody for joining us today. My name is Martina Cado. I am the Vice President of Research and Franciscan Director of the H. Furlong Baldwin Library at the Maryland Center for History and Culture in Baltimore. I have also had the privilege and the pleasure of serving as the chair for our NMPS 2025 conference for the past, I want to say almost a year now. And I am joined today by three of my colleagues from our planning committee for this conference. With us today is Emily Zoss, who will also be presenting in a little bit. She is the managing editor for research publications at the National Gallery of Art, and also our immediate past chair of NMPS 2023, which reconvened in Chicago. Hi, Emily, and welcome. Then with us also is Matt Mayerchak of Mayerchak and Company. Matt has been serving in the planning committee also for a couple of years, and he's joining us this year as well. Hi, Matt, and welcome. And the tech whiz behind this meeting and our upcoming virtual sessions and a lot of the technical stuff that's happening in the background of organizing this conference is J.M. Conway, the Associate Director for Partnerships and Cohort-Based Learning at the Graham School with the University of Chicago. As many of you probably know, the University of Chicago has been a long-standing logistical underwriting and thought partner of NMPS, and we are extremely grateful for their support. Hi, Conway. All right. Well, the reason why we've all convened today is to tell you a little bit more about the National Museum Publishing Seminar Conference coming up in a little over 2 weeks. And we have two groups of dates that we want to talk to you about today. So we will have our virtual sessions coming up very soon on June 3rd and 4th, and I will be saying a little bit more about those in a minute. And then we will have our in-person meeting after, almost 2 years. We last met in Chicago. The in-person meeting will take place in Baltimore at the Marriott Waterfront Hotel on June 29th to July 1st. So we'll be talking about those in-person sessions and programming in a little bit as well. So for today, what we have prepared for you is we're going to talk about the program and about all the social and networking events that we have prepared for about 35 minutes. We're going to leave about 10 minutes for your questions. So I feel like that's the main part of today. We want to hear from you and what else you need to know that maybe we've forgotten or we haven't shared, and then what else we need to think about. And then finally, if you have time, we would like to spend the last 15 minutes of this hour preparing for the conference by having a quick speed networking session where we can divide people up into breakout rooms, and we have some prompts and questions for you to talk about. So we feel that would be a great way to get to know each other and maybe think about what we want to talk about together during the sessions when they get here. So if that sounds good to everybody. Yes, I only see a few faces and a few nods. I think it's good to get us going. Thank you for telling us where you're tuning in from. I think that's really amazing. So please keep that moving. I will start sharing some slides now just to let everybody know where we are. Let me see if this will work. Is that showing up well? Yes, I see now. It's okay. Wonderful. So welcome to How to Make the Best of NMPS 2025. This is a beautiful skyline of our beautiful city and where our hotel is. We'll get to that in a little bit. Moving on. Okay. Maybe a little bit about the history of NMPS as such. I know a lot of people have been with this organization for a very long time, loose organization. And I know that some people are, maybe just finding out about it. I know that I've been telling about NMPS to everybody who wants to hear for the past several months. So the NMPS was founded in 1989. So it's, I want to say, what, 35 years and longer, as a gathering of professionals who work in museum publishing. And what do we mean by that? We mean a really, really broad community, and that's the best part of NMPS. We mean folks who work at museums, like many of us here do, but we also mean the entire publishing landscape, which includes freelancers, designers, editors, printers, distributors. So literally anybody who's involved in either print or digital publishing or any other aspect of this beautiful work that we do together. So the conference itself functions on a biennial schedule. So every 2 years we meet. So far it's been Chicago and then another location and then Chicago and then another location. So this year it will be Baltimore. Something that happened during the pandemic and that is now visible in our virtual programming is that the entire conference, of course, had to move off online in 2020 and then 2021. Since then, we have retained virtual programming as part of our reach because we want to reach as many people as possible, and we want to broaden the community and make our sessions as accessible as possible. So that's a little bit about the mission. I also want to tell you a little bit about our planning committee. I've already mentioned 3 people who are here with me today. As you can see, we have a really diverse group of people from multiple countries and multiple continents. I believe we function in about 5 time zones when we get together and when we plan this conference. So it's been the most beautiful challenge to do it that way. And I'm really, really proud of this group of people, and I want to give them a shout out here. They will all be involved in the sessions and the programming in one way or another. And then we'll get to that in a little bit. And again, attendees and audience are yourselves. So in whichever capacity you're included in museum publishing, whatever you do, we want you there with us. All right, let's get to the dates. Let's get concrete. As I mentioned, the in-person conference will be taking place in a little over a month, from June 29th to July 1st. It's a Sunday, Monday, and a Tuesday. But before that, we will meet on June 3rd and June 4th for our virtual sessions. Before we get into the programming, I want to say a little bit about the registration, just in case you haven't had a chance to take a look at our website. And if Conway or Emily or Matt could put like the NMPS website in the chat, I think that would be really helpful for folks if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So this is just a brief snapshot of the registration options. The main thing is that if you register for the conference, the in-person conference, you will get automatic access to the virtual sessions. Or if you're not able to meet with us in person in Baltimore, there is the option of buying only the online pre-session pass. As you can see from this brief snapshot, there are also other options. We have group registrations if you want to bring multiple people from your organization here. We have options to register for only 1 day, depending on your interest. So you can take a look at the program and see what speaks to you the most. There's also the student registration option. So with a valid student ID, we can definitely make that happen for you at a more affordable rate. So just a word there. The registration page or links are, on our NMPS website. So please take a look. All right. So in terms of our virtual conference, virtual offerings, we will meet on 2 half days, so the Tuesday and the Wednesday. We try to find times that would hopefully work for multiple time zones. So if you're on the East Coast or around here, it will be an afternoon. If you're on the Pacific Coast, it'll be a morning or a late morning for you. And we are talking about 4 sessions each day, so 4 plus 4. We will start a little earlier on the Tuesday, noon Eastern time, and then Wednesday will be 1 Eastern time, 1 p.m. Um, just to expand a little bit on the virtual offerings, so they developed from the pandemic, essentially, when the entire conference was held online. But since then, what we have retained is a part of the conference that was always a part of NMPS, and that is what we sometimes refer to as Museum Publishing Fundamentals, or sometimes we call it Publishing 101. And we keep going back and forth between these names because it is fundamentals of publishing, but it's also not something that only early career professionals should be invited to participate in. We have found it really useful to refresh our memory on certain topics. Or maybe if you're a seasoned professional in one area and you've just switched to a different department, or your job description has changed in your organization, maybe you need a primer in another area that you haven't been an expert in. So that is kind of a holdover that now makes the core of our virtual programming. For this specific conference, we will have 8 sessions, like I said. 6 of them will belong to the fundamentals series. So if you take a look at the virtual schedule, I won't go into details because we could spend the entire hour just exploring the sessions and the titles and talking about the topics. So 6 of them belong to the fundamentals, and they are marked as such. And then there are 2 others that are additional sessions that maybe we didn't designate as fundamentals, but they should be really helpful. One is about collaborating with your designers and how to do it better. It has a really catchy title. It says "Collaborate Better to Save Time, Money, and Your Sanity." And there's the last session of the virtual programming will be the one-person powerhouse. So that session will speak to smaller publishers or smaller departments in our ecosystem. And I will be participating in that one and sharing what I've learned and what I still hope to learn in that regard. So a total of 8 sessions. These sessions will be recorded, and I should also mention that 2 of them will be pre-recorded sessions from our 2023 programming. I believe Emily's here is one of them. But our presenters will be available for a live Q&A. So you'll be able to ask questions of the presenters right then and there, even though their session was maybe pre-recorded. We create such great material from year to year, and we thought that it would be great to repurpose it because we don't want it to go away after just 1 year and one presentation online. So we will make the session recordings available after the conference to anybody who is registered. And the University of Chicago will also host a so-called resource library. So there will be an online folder or platform where presenters will be able to upload the materials that they shared, maybe some handouts, maybe some samples or examples of whatever they're sharing. So they will be organized by session, and they will also be accessible to registrants after that. All right, so that covers the virtual conference. Again, I encourage you to look at the program and find out what's of most interest to you. And in the interest of time, I'm going to keep us moving to talk about the in-person sessions. First of all, if you haven't already, I would encourage you to book your hotel reservation. If you're staying in our hotel at the Baltimore Marriott Waterfront, we do have a special rate for NMPS, and this is the page that's also linked from the NMPS website. So it's easily findable. And it's filled on a first come, first serve basis. So we encourage everybody to book early if you want to be there with us. Just one, note here. All right. Something that we have been able to do for in-person programming this year is add more presenters from outside the planning committee. So traditionally, the planning committee members have been responsible for organizing a lot of sessions. And this year we were able to open it up even further. So I just did a little bit of math and I was able to come up with the fact that we have over 50 presenters in about 13 sessions for the in-person programming. And I think I came up with 14 presenters for the 8 virtual sessions. So that's really an incredible number of people, of talented individuals, of experts to learn from our community that I can't wait to meet. I know some of them, but I just can't wait for all this to get going and for us to share and learn from each other. The in-person conference, kind of like any other conference, will be organized as a mix of plenary and concurrent sessions. So we have, I want to say, 3 plenary events. That means that the entire community gathers in one space and is thinking about the same thing or talking about the same thing. Our opening plenary session is definitely something that I want to highlight with the title of Publishing Without Fear or Favor, Maintaining Trust with Authors, Artists, and Audiences. When we started planning this conference, it was, I want to say, summer of 2024, and the US national as well as international landscape has changed quite a bit in the meantime. And if we were planning it today, it might have been a different program. So this opening session will kind of get us going in terms of thinking about museums as a place of trust. I don't know if you've studied the surveys put out by the American Alliance of Museums and similar organizations, but museums as third spaces have this capacity and incredible opportunity to serve as places of dialogue and places of meeting where we can explore ideas together and be there for each other. So that will be one of our plenary sessions. Our Monday closing session will be a plenary and it's a lightning round. So that's always a fun thing. And we decided to close off our Monday on that note because it's quick and dynamic and it consists of short presentations by several speakers within the hour where they talk about a case study or a recent project or something that, you know, other people could learn from. So I definitely want to highlight that as the end of our day on Monday. And then Tuesday, we have our keynote luncheon, as usual. For this year, I don't think it's been updated on the website yet because we're still doing many tweaks to the program. But Dr. Emily Gavald from the American Folk Art Museum, she is the Deputy Director and Chief Curatorial and Program Officer, has accepted our invitation. So we're looking forward to hearing about her latest project and her latest, I have it somewhere here, her massive publication that they put out on this exhibition. Those are some highlights that I wanted to share here. In terms of themes, again, not going necessarily into every individual session here, we think that everybody in this landscape will be able to find something for themselves. So from, you know, editorial to design themes, we have sessions that address both print and digital publishing. We talk about project management. So a lot of the sessions will address the process of publishing and you know, some technical things and how-tos. And I have some examples here from project management, like I mentioned, to style guides, knowledge bases, user guides, to some of the sessions that I mentioned that talk about how to best work with either freelance editors or your designers or your printers or whoever you're working with. A number of sessions will also address communications, marketing, or outreach, you know, how we communicate what we've done with our museum publications. So we have a session on social media for museum publishers. We will also be talking about multilingual exhibitions and, for example, leveraging AI to enhance image descriptions in art collections. And then finally, maybe going back to that big umbrella of why and how we do things, a number of sessions talk about collaboration. So in addition to building trust within and among the museum community, which includes both the public and again, the museum publishing professionals like us, we are also going to be talking about partnering with scholarly communications and what that might do for the museum publishing landscape. So I think that pretty much covers yes, this part. I think I'm right on time. We will have some time for your questions in a little bit. And if everybody's okay, I'm going to stop sharing. There we go, so I can see you again. and kind of segue us into the social. So this has been the content. This has been kind of what we're going to be doing. But we think that one of the best parts of this conference are the opportunities that we set up for people to meet each other, talk to each other, create new projects together, and just learn. So there are plenty of opportunities in the program, and Emily will go into them right away. I might just want to kick us off with the Sunday. So I know I talked about the Monday and the Tuesday sessions, but Sunday is kind of all about social stuff, and that's really neat. We have an optional field trip planned, and the reason I'm talking about it is because it's my home museum that I'm proud will be offering a guided tour of our galleries. So we will have staff on site. We chose about 3 galleries that we think speak to what the Maryland Center for History and Culture does. We are a history museum. We are a former historical society. And we have plenty of wonderful collections, so we want to share that. That will be organized. We'll have bus transportation from the hotel to the Mount Vernon neighborhood. So I wouldn't recommend walking. I have, but I wouldn't. It's a little far out. So we'll make sure to provide you with the means of getting here and then getting back to the hotel. I think that covers my part of it. So if Emily's ready, I want to kick it over to you and let you handle probably the most exciting part of this conference.
I mean, I'm a little biased, but yes, I think so. My screen looks okay. Yes, Conway, Martina. Yes, no, it's okay. Great. Okay. Yeah, thanks so much. I'm so glad to be here to tell everyone a little bit about our social and networking opportunities at NMPS. One of the things I really appreciate about NMPS is that along with the full range of sessions that Martina just talked about, we do have opportunities to meet other people in the field and learn about, their work, their programs, and make new connections, especially if, we are or have been a department of one or a very small. Sometimes it's hard to connect with people from other institutions. And this is what we try to support here at NMPS. We know that any conference can be challenging to navigate, especially if it's your first time here. And like Conway said, I'm thrilled that there are so many first timers who are here today right now. Or if you don't know a lot of people already, so NMPS is where you can go to make those connections. We have a lot of both structured and unstructured opportunities that have been intentionally planned for this year's conference to try to help make this as frictionless as possible. So we're going to start out on Sunday afternoon with our combined orientation and speed networking session. We'll get a little taste of speed networking potentially at the end of this hour, but that'll give you a little more information on how the conference is going to run, and speed networking will help you make a few new connections first thing right out of the gate. It's a lot of fun, even for introverts like me. We provide conversation starter prompts, so you don't have to worry about coming up with small talk ideas. And we're hoping that it's going to set you up so that you have some familiar faces that you're going to keep on encountering through the run of the conference. We are continuing a long NMPS tradition of running dinners with colleagues. We'll offer options for that on both Sunday and Monday nights. And the way that's going to work is that at the registration desk, when you come to the Marriott, you're going to have an opportunity to sign your name up to participate. We'll have a bunch of different types of restaurants to choose from. You'll pick what restaurant you want to go to. Just sign your name up on the list, first come, first serve. And then you're going to meet up with your group to travel together to the restaurant that evening. Planning committee members are going to be leading the groups. We'll get a chance to hang out. It's a lot of fun, and I still remember people that I met at my first NMPS dinner with colleagues from 2014. It's great to make some connections. On here, I want to put a very special plug in for our mentorship network. Again, this is a really popular program that we offer at NMPS, and this is where we connect you one-on-one with another museum publishing community member who has chosen to participate in this program, and so that you can connect around your shared professional interests. You're going to fill out a form. You're going to tell us what you're interested in, what you're working on, what your role is. And we will connect you with others who have signed up as either a mentor or a mentee so that you can, hopefully connect a bit before and especially during the conference. It is a really great way to network and learn more about other people's career paths and programs. I will say, we often have people say, I'm just not experienced enough to be a mentor. And to that, I will just say, we value your experience, your expertise, and we know it will be valuable to someone else who might be at a different point in their career. So if you have been in the field for, several years, even if you don't feel like a mentor, please believe us when we say we think you can be. And please do consider signing up as a mentor. We often have more mentees than mentors, and the mentees are going to be thrilled to get a chance to learn from you and get to meet you. We'll send out some more information by email on this week, but if you're interested, you can fill out our participation survey right now. I can't see the chat, so Conway, if you can't share the link, I will do it as soon as I finish talking, and I'm not attempting to multitask. Okay, great. So in terms of some less structured opportunities that we're also going to offer, we're offering a couple of meetup opportunities for two communities that are actually specifically focused on digital publishing. So on Tuesday, right before our keynote lunch, there's going to be a community meetup for users of Quire, which is the Getty's awesome digital publishing tool. Um, if you are using Quire already, you've probably heard about this. If you haven't been using Quire yet, you should learn about it. And if you want a chance to learn more about the tool and the other institutions that are using it, this is where you can go to learn more. And I know they'll be happy to see you there. And then on Tuesday morning, during the breakfast window right before our first session of the day, we're going to have a drop-in opportunity for members of the Museum Publishing Digital Interest Group, affectionately known as MUPUDIG, to meet in person. This is a group that we run that runs regular webinars every couple of months or so that people can learn what's going on in the field, share about their projects. If you're not already participating in MUPUDIG, I really hope you will stop by to learn more about it. And then finally, I want to encourage everyone to take advantage of the opportunity to meet with our exhibitors. The exhibitor community for NMPS is exceptionally focused and dedicated. You are going to meet some of the most experienced printers in the world with, specialized knowledge about printing books for museums and in the art field. They travel internationally just to connect with you and work with this community. There are going to be packagers there who can help support you on various aspects of projects. There's translation services, digital publishing tools, co-publishers. All of these exhibitors can provide really valuable new connections for you in the future. During the conference, you're going to see that we'll have an exhibitor preview on Sunday afternoon, as well as our exhibitor reception on Monday night. And of course, the exhibitors are going to be available to speak with everyone all through the conference. And we did this in 2023, and we want to do it again this year. I want to say a few words just about like navigating the exhibitor space, because like for me, it can be intimidating, especially if the exhibitors are operating in an area that you're not normally interacting with, or maybe if you're not even currently in a decision-making role in your organization. So I just want to share a few tips. The first is ask exhibitors about the work they do. This is a really great way to learn about the network of partners that help keep our field going and to learn how different areas work. I would also say that even if you're not a decision maker right now, you might be in the future. As Martina nodded to, roles change, responsibilities change. We tend to wear a lot of different hats in this field. And having, these connections and some background with, the co-publishers or packagers or the printers, getting that set up and getting some face time now is a really great way to prepare for new career paths. And then finally, and I think this is something that I like the most about the exhibitor space, a lot of the exhibitors are going to be there showing off projects that they've worked on with other institutions. One of the best parts is getting to see all of the amazing work that other museums, libraries are doing. to, scope out the colophons or the copyright pages to see who the designers were working on them and see how designers have approached projects, get some ideas for new fun production bells and whistles that people are putting in their books. So when you're there, pick up the books, look at them, ask the exhibitors about their work. They're going to love to talk with you about it. So, all in all, we hope that these opportunities give everyone, even if you're, sort of used to navigating conferences in different ways, even if it's your first time at a conference, for everyone, we hope that it gives you some support as you're moving through the conference and to help it be a positive experience. Um, if you are there and you see planning committee members around also, we'll probably have like, something on our badge or something. Please introduce yourself. Please say hi. We can't wait to see you there and welcome you to NMPS. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Emily. I know this was very quick, but that's because there's so much going on. We'd like to open it up. We have 10 minutes or however long we want for your questions. Is there something that you're curious about that you'd like to know more about? Is there something that we haven't mentioned here and that you saw in the program and you're wondering about? I would try, if you want to raise your hand, I can try to call on you. I don't see everybody at the same time on my screen, so I'll do my best. If you're shy, you can type your question in the chat. Speaking to introverts and different modes of communication.
Good afternoon. This is David Hetherington from Books International. I have a couple of questions, if I may.
Hi, David. Yes,
So, how many people are registered for the event so far?
I believe Conway can speak to that.
Yes, yesterday, last we checked, we were at 170, and registration is still open.
Okay, so 170. All right. And will the affiliation names and affiliations of attendees be made available to exhibitors?
Yes, so we each year create attendee directory. And so if people opt in, their names, institutions, roles, and contact information will be added to a directory that will be available digitally at conference and just shortly after. We typically push it right up to the edge because we sometimes get a few last minute registrations. So we won't be printing the directory, but you will receive access to it electronically so that you can connect with the group from the conference.
Okay. And last
And
question is, are there tables still available for exhibitors? Because I've got four other organizations that are potentially interested in exhibiting.
There are. For a couple of days, our site had an error, and so the exhibitor slots were showing as sold out, but we do still have three standard exhibitor slots available, and we'd love to partner with those organizations.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome, David.
and Conway, I was just going to add the directory is shared with everyone. It's not just to the exhibitors. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, so the directory is shared with everyone who registers for the conference, virtual and in person, so that you can keep connections. And then there's also a booklet for exhibitors, which we will print, which will have the information and blurbs about each of the exhibitor organizations that you can take with you. And those we do print for everyone who comes to the conference.
Conway, we got a question in the chat that I think you can help us with. It kind of piggybacks off of this conversation. Is there a way to check ahead of time to see how our name and association will appear in the directory?
Yes, that's a great question. A few weeks ahead of conference, the names and information that we have gathered thus far from registration will be sent individually to each registrant so that you can double check that the information is still correct. Registration opened in early January or I think late January. And so things may have changed, as we mentioned, in that time. And so it will be sent to you as we have planned for it to appear with time for you to respond and make edits before we send the link to everyone. Great question.
Any other questions?
Um, Hi, Laura Napolitano from North Carolina Museum of Art. For the choir workshop that's happening on Sunday, how will people know if they were accepted into that workshop? Because I know there's a limited amount of seats available.
Right. So the choir team is handling that registration. And the page that I inserted into the chat, I don't know if you saw a little earlier, that should have your sign up information. I know there's a wait list, and I know that I was told that they often have late cancellations. So it could be, that one gets in at the very last minute, but that would be a good question for them. So if there's not a contact on the web page that I posted, please reach out to any one of us, and we can connect you with our choir representatives. I can put my email here just in case anybody has follow-up questions. Any other questions? Or I'll ask you, especially the first timers. Oh, somebody had his hand up. Joel, is that
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Hi,
Yes,
Joel
ask
Coggins,
away.
University of Virginia Press. So there's a wait list for the choir hands-on Sunday. Do I understand from what you were mentioning earlier that there's also going to be some sort of demo during on Monday or Tuesday as well?
On Tuesday, there's going to be a choir community meetup.
Okay.
So
All
I'm
right.
not sure they're necessary. I'm not positive whether they're going to be demoing projects or not. I'm not sure how Aaron's set up, but you can definitely, that will be where everyone in the room is going to be someone who probably is using choir at their institution or is learning about it. So it'll be a great way to connect and at least hear more about the kinds of projects that people are working on.
Great.
I'm told that there should be a bit of a showcase that people will
Perfect.
be sharing their projects during this community meetup. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll be in a room. We have some, optional breakfasts or optional breaks suggested for other interest groups, but the choir group will be meeting in our S6 room in a designated conference space. So they'll be bringing stuff. Any more questions? I'm curious about where our first time attendees found out about this conference, if it's your first time, if you want to share, whether in the chat or just tell us here. We have a couple more minutes for questions here before we head over to the breakout rooms.
I heard via the Association of University Presses listserv.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Because it's always helpful for us to know, what's a good place to put our outreach energy, what works. Did we do such a good job of telling everybody what's going on? Oh, okay, Laura, thank you. I heard about NMPS from a colleague at my institution who has attended in the past. So word of mouth, that's probably always one of the best ways to get the word across. Same. Well, that tells us about the community as well, that it's people connecting with each other and talking to each other, and that's how we share. Someone who attended the conference in the past invited me to present. Thank you, Antonia.
Dave Updike from the Barnes Foundation. This will actually be my second one. I did go to the one in Chicago in 23, but I thought it was so helpful that we have two other members of our team coming this time. Plus, it's closer, makes it a little bit easier for us. So.
Wonderful. Well, for coming up for the last quarter of the hour, I definitely warmly invite everybody to get in touch with us. If you think of a question outside of this meeting, again, this session is being recorded and will be shared with the community in the hopes of getting more registrants and more people to get to know and share with. I Thank you. I think everybody's taking the opportunity to log off if they have to go. If you're able to, and if you want to connect for a little bit of networking, please stay in this meeting. So as we start to prepare to break you up into rooms, we'll see how many folks we have. We were thinking of doing maybe 2 rounds of 6 or 7 minutes each. And we have some prompts. I'm not a prompt person. I hate icebreakers. So I don't want to, I don't want to bug everybody with it. But we did think of some introduction questions, introduce yourself, where you're from and what you do. 2 questions that I could think of was, what are you most excited about NMPS this year? What are you most looking forward to see or do or share? And then another one is pretty self-explanatory. It's what is or what was your favorite publication project so far in your career? So you can talk about anything, of course, but we thought that these would be good places to start with everybody. So thank you for sticking around. Are we ready, Conway, for you to send us on our merry way?
Yes, we are. I'm going to just pause the recording.
Thank you.